long time. So I'm going to share them in this video. Been an artist and a content creator for at least 5 years now. At least like really like doing it. I've been kind of doing off and on like before that, but really doubling down and starting this project, Fire from Heaven. It's been at least 5 years. Doing a lot of internet content creation, not just music creation, because in order to be an artist online, you gotta build an audience around something other than just your music, because people aren't familiar with your music. So you have to do other things like content creation. And that's something I've been doing for a while now. And learned a lot about talking to people online, made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, a lot of mistakes along the way. And, it's just, and this is something I talked about a little bit in yesterday's live, is like people just, when they get online and talk to each other, something shifts, something changes, and we don't talk to each other how we normally would face to face because we're not really seeing people necessarily. It's like for some reason we don't see each other as people when we're communicating online. At least some people do, and I've been like that as well. It's like almost like I'm just arguing with a bot or something, and it's like you lose all care for the other person. You don't give a crap what they have to say. You're not trying to understand what their argument is. All you're thinking about is how you're going to respond and make them look like an idiot, basically. And that's just pretty much what I see everywhere on the internet. And I make this video because I want to share what I've learned to other artists, because it's something we all should consider and think about and try to work to get better at. One thing I've learned is a question is only as good as the intent behind it. And it's just something that happened the other day. It's like someone just messaged me asking like, what was it? I'm trying to remember what the question was. But, I didn't even have to really ask because I knew what he was getting at. He was trying to he was asking whether or not I was a Christian and all that and believed in God. And he was, whether or not I believed we should follow what the Bible says and stuff. And then I just knew right away what he was getting at, because this was just one of those people that thinks metal is satanic and all that, and it's really not. It's very subjective whether you believe that or not, because it's art. Art is very subjective and it's very personal to whoever is consuming it. It's whatever it is to each individual. It's not just one thing. You know what I mean? Regardless of the intent of the artist, when the artist puts it out, it's no longer theirs. It's whoever is consuming it. But, just something I just realized is I knew exactly where he was going because I kind of understood the intent behind the question. So that's a big thing I've learned. And I've wasted a lot of time trying to argue with idiots online. And it's just a waste of time. You know people, they're just messing with you. They're either messing with you or they just, for some reason, they get on social media to vent and release something. I don't know. But to all other artists out there, this is one thing you can do, and one thing I've realized I can do is kind of don't try to assume the intent, even though you're pretty confident about it. It's like, if you feel like this is a valuable conversation to have, then ask, okay, what do you mean by asking that? Or what is your intention with asking that? Because, again, a question is only as good as the intent behind it. And a lot of times people ask me questions to try and trap me, either logically or theologically or whatever, and just not even worth going into. So that's a big thing. That helps with discernment and talking to people online. It's it's just something that's we all need to think about when interacting with each other, because you don't know what the other person's life is like. And in an age where people are just, especially here in the US, like we have so much, but it's crazy because we have like the highest suicide rate. So it's like we're missing something here, you know? And people, even though we can access, I can reach people across the planet. Like there are people across the planet listening to my music. And it's just crazy like how we should be so connected by, having all these resources, and it's almost become something that's more divisive, and it shouldn't be. And I wasn't really on social media when it really first started. And so I don't really remember what it was ever like, but it's always been kind of something like where people could just share what they're going through in life or share their thoughts and like stuff like that. Just something originally where people would share things they would share personally, like, but because it's become such a big space, there's a lot of people, you know, um, you don't even know that are seeing your personal thoughts and stuff like that. So like kind of a healthy way to go about it now is not to really share that stuff unless you keep it like more private to people you know. But discernment on the internet is lacking. And again, I've been a part of this. It's we just need to think about what each other's intents are when we're speaking to each other and talking, and realize that we're talking to people, people with faces and lives just like, you know, you and I. And if they're just not a healthy person, and they're not speaking in a kind way to you, then just ignore it and move on. Don't feed that kind of stuff with, responding and stuff like that. It's just not worth it. Um, but that is kind of my short little spiel that I had for today's Fireosophy. I see you guys are commenting. Let me put my glasses back on. Oh yeah, you guys are sharing great stuff. Don't let anyone stop you. Yep. The Xbox kids grew up and turned trolls. I'm speaking English. Yois me. Trying to hurry up so you can continue isolating yourself. I'm pretty introverted too. You know, I don't need to like. Some people have a massive circle of friends. I don't. Pretty small, but we all need people. We all need community. Life's a lot easier when you have that. But it also sucks because um, great people come into your lives and then they just disappear out of nowhere, and then it's hard not to take it personally. But I've learned that's a part of life. You know, everyone grows, everyone moves on sometimes, and stuff like that. So, and people hurt you too, and that's all. That also sucks. Because we need each other, but it's like that's the big part of why you gotta learn to be forgiving and not resentful, because that's gonna just make life so much harder. I guess if any of you have any questions, let me know. try to do these lives. I'm just a lot of my music is very personal development focused. I know I tell mythical stories and stuff like that, but I think stories are the best way to teach. Um, and I'm my life has been massively changed by taking my own personal development seriously. Sorry, I'm just reading some of your comments. I think this is the most interaction I've had on the live, so thank you guys for joining. So if any of you have any questions, let me know. That's true too, Desmond. Sometimes, especially like for me, starting a family and stuff like that, people are always like complaining, like, why don't you come see me? Things like that. It's like, I got a pretty busy life, if that's important to you, then, you know, make the effort, but I think there should be an effort on both sides as well. You know what I mean? Kind of like a good balance. Uh, that's how relationships work. It shouldn't be like you make all the effort. You know what I mean? Like it should be two-sided, both sides, in between, rather than one side or the other. See, this is what I'm talking about, internet discernment. People aren't thinking about how they treat each other or what they're saying to you. They don't give a crap that you're a person and you're living a life and you're trying to come on here and be valuable to people and they're just not thinking about what they're saying. So it's that one of these comments is a good example, not to take things personally and just keep moving on. Some people say things without thinking. And they just, again, they're not thinking, but then, oh yeah, chill, bro. Yeah, you're realizing I'm a person. So, anyways, I'm going to move on, stay metal. I'm going to go make some sick metal music.